Okay, it's the first race of the Geologie Cup. We are here at Sardegna Road Track B, one of the more popular Sardegna layouts. It's a 3.8 kilometre circuit, and we're using the Alfa Romeo 4C Group 4 car today. It's using no setup, so it's much more lightweight than you'd expect if you're used to the regular BOP Group 4 class version. Times 1 fuel, times 1 tyres. This is a sprint race, and you can see all the layout of the circuit here. We have 18 laps of racing, goes to about 25 minutes. All the regular IGTL settings that you would pedal as fast as you can go. Here we go then, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4. See who gets away well as they dive down into turn number 1. Great to see all those cars on the grid. Look like DP in the back there, just got a rocket ship start.
It's the same thing, just took right off.
So Swasatoro is defending from Loirot, who's having a look around the outside. Nico and Ardi and Quinton, the ERM boys, behind Loirot and already looking for that P2 position. I think Quinton's got his car on the inside. That might actually open the door up for Nico as well, but back into single file. At the back of the field, it's looking like a battle. Lamb was involved there for a second, but he's sort of gotten himself ahead. I think DP was shoved out onto the grass there, and that's going to be not the start you're looking for in the Geologie Cup, Cyrus.
I don't think so. You don't want that.
Be very, very frustrated, and I don't think that was his fault either. It looks like he was pushed.
For a bit, it looked like the top 2 were going to just take off, but those penalties really sorted things out for us.
Yeah, I think those penalties are coming in and making sure that we have an entertaining race here for these remaining 15 laps or so. That is Loirot on the inside of Quinton, and good racing room left there, but I think Loirot got a little bit of oversteer on the exit. He's actually ended up going to concede the position to Nico, which that was an interesting turn of events. That was a roller coaster of emotions almost. I thought Loirot was going to get himself into P. For these two working together a little bit in some places, they are teammates. I think they're definitely in a party chat with each other right now, Cyrus.
I think you're absolutely correct.
Of course, I don't think we're any strangers to doing that though.
Yeah, we're halfway through the race right now. I think we can expect to see a little bit more meat.
Yes. And that battle for the lead, not really developing yet. I'm thinking that one is going to explode on the final lap or so. Because it seems like Quinton is very, very passive in that P2 position. Top 6 here. He'll be hoping he can qualify a little bit. Oh, what's it? We have lost a driver. That is Swasatoro in the barrier. I'm saving a replay of that one. We need to go and be a detective and see what just happened. Let's have a look then. Turns in as expected. Oh, it's a lot of gravel. He gets a lot of gravel. And it's mainly the rear end of the car which spins it round. The rear overtakes the front. All of a sudden, you've lost it. That is our race leader, Cyrus. So Quinton's now winning. Loirot's in P2. Plot twist. Incredible. I was away talking about Lamb and his journey, and then all of a sudden, massive development for the lead completely transforms the race. And that's because it feels like the exit curve's just a little bit too late. It doesn't quite line up with the racing line, so it can make that corner very, very, very dangerous. Whether that's a good or bad feature of the track, I'll let chat decide.
These tracks are really polarizing that way, aren't they?
Yeah, speaking of chat, how are we doing, Cyrus?
Chat, you know what? Chat is, it's really amazing, like you said earlier. This is a channel that not a lot of people follow, and I've seen that number grow today. It's really amazing to see how many people from, your stream, my stream, and just the Gran Turismo community in general are here. Like you said earlier, it says something about the event being put on by Geologie and you guys. You have this many people coming to a channel that isn't normally populated to watch the action. Very cool.
Yeah, it's so great that everyone seeks out whenever you've got some good racing going on. Everyone seeks it out. Everyone comes to hang out. I hope you're all enjoying it so far.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it's not to the very last lap.
Yeah?
In chat, I gotta tell you, Geologie, I love you. Hasne and Conquer, I love you guys. You're all fantastic. Chat, you're wonderful. Geologie, thank you again for not only sponsoring me, but making sure this event happens.
Yeah, do check out Geologie, guys, because I do enjoy supporting brands that are able to put on racing for us like this. You know, it's a fairly, Cyrus was saying earlier, in Gran Turismo, it's a fairly rare occurrence. And every time, you know, a prize competition comes around, a lot of the top drivers do jump on it, because that opportunity doesn't come around too often. That time, though, Quinton left a lot more space. Loira, I think, just trying to get the maximum speed through the apex, almost ends up running himself off the track there with his own momentum. Will is looking around the outside of Nico. Going to try and go all the way around the outside of a hairpin. Keeps a nose on the inside for the consecutive hairpin. And I think he might have this. He's got overlap on the inside. That is a fantastic move if it comes off. But now Nico's going to be under threat from Polora as well. They're side by side going into what we quite like to seem to call the dangerous corner, with the gravel trap in a disastrous place. If you're a man on the outside, I thought it was going 3 wide for a second there, but Nico somehow gets the momentum to hold off that P3 position. I think having the inside of those 2 sweeping left-handers on the straight can really help you out with that. Quinton's going to hold it from Loirot, though, and unless Loirot can make a Hail Mary in the final corner, Quinton will come away with this race win. And nice and smooth through that final corner, as you'd expect. So it's going to be Quinton, our first race winner in the Geologie Cup. Loirot shortly behind. Then you've then got Nico, Will, and Polora right behind. P3, P4, P5. Super close racing. Lamb will get P6, but he was never able to shake Charles, who was behind him the entire race. Blay is in P8. Swasatoro led most of this race. An unfortunate accident saw him plummeting down to P9. Kryptonite, P10. DP, after a crash on the first lap, unfortunately was never able to recover. And will come P11, unfortunately. Which technically, I suppose, Cyrus, you can say that that's not last place.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's better than last place, you know?
Here's the point there.
You can thank connection issues for that, I suppose. So we're going to get some race results together for you in a second. And we have a second race to bring you tonight as well, so don't go anywhere. We have 2 races tonight. The second race will be in the same car, but we'll be going over to Nürburgring GP. So there's more points up for grabs and more great racing coming your way very, very shortly. In the meantime, me and Cyrus are going to take a short break real quick. We've got a quick ad from Geologie to play you as well in the meantime. But I hope you're all enjoying it. I hope you all stick around. And we'll catch you in a few minutes for our race results from race 1 and coverage on race 2 as well.
Finally, men's skincare that overtakes the competition. It's Geologie. Award-winning and personalized ingredients that work. Battle acne. Reduce wrinkles and dark under eyes. Go fast and go smooth. Join over 250,000 guys and do your faces solid with Geologie. That's Geologie. Geologie, the most respected brand in men's skincare.
Appearing on your screen now should be the race results of our first race. You see there, Quinton took the win from Loirot, but there's only about 2 tenths in it. It was then 2 seconds back down to Nico and that gaggle of cars that we had battling for that last podium position in P3. Lamb made up 4 positions, which is a good result, but I think he'll be a little bit disappointed with that qualifying that led him into that race. And we'll be looking to do better in race number 2. We can now look at our point rankings as well. And we'll see how our point system works. So it's fairly simple. Round 1, the points are now on the board. You see there's 15 for the winner, and it goes all the way down to 0 for 12th place. Those points are going to be the same for rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. The final has slightly boosted points, however, it's not double points. In the final, the winner will get 25, and then the points distribution for the lower positions are slightly different to how they are in our regular rounds. So that final really matters, but you're still going to need good race results through rounds 1 to 4 in order to take home the win and that prize pool.
It'll be really great.
So it's a Nürburgring GP then. I think everyone knows this circuit, don't they? Famous circuit located in Germany, next to, of course, the Nürburgring Nordschleife. 5.1 kilometers in length. Perfect sort of track for our 4C, I think, actually. With it being a small car, you've got a lot of these rounded hairpins on this track. Those sort of corners feel really great to drive through in this car. You'll see that the race parameters, the brake horsepower, the weight of the car, you know, fuel consumption, tyre consumption, etc. It's all the same as race number 1, all nice and consistent there. So these drivers will now be comfortable in this car, I think. And we're going to see another example of maybe how drivers are stronger and weaker at different circuits. Obviously, every driver has their own personality, and some drivers are super crazy at some tracks, but openly admit that they're not as good at other tracks. So it can really shake up the order, especially when our qualifying for race 1 was shaken up so close that there was only 4 tenths all the way down from first to last place. So if we join the circuit right now, you'll see we have qualifying for race number 2. It's Robbie Cyrus. I'm not even afraid to admit it. I'll come clean, straight up.
I'd be in the stands, I believe. Firmly in the stands. On that bridge.
Yeah. Alright. Second race of the day, second and final race of the day. Last chance for these guys to bag some points in the Geologie Cup on day 1. We've got some red lights, and as soon as they go out, we are racing down to turn 1. One of the most horrible turn 1s in daily races, where you always have to watch your mirrors. I don't think these guys are as much going to have that problem as they go down to turn number 1 on this occasion. Here we go, Will taking it wide. Polora almost got a nose up the inside. And there has been a restart called by the stewards. I would imagine that is due to someone being stuck on the grid. Bit of a shame. I mean, it's not celebration time yet, lads. You've got to race one more time. But they're putting on a good show. Definitely better than the intermission screen. We're going to have to make the best of what we've got. But here we are. We're on the grid for race 2. Will is on pole. From Polora, Blay, Quinton. Lamb there in the mid-pack as well. So once again, we're waiting for those 4 red lights on this track, not 5 red lights, to go out. And then we are going to be racing down to turn 1. And hopefully no contact. Here we go. And all the cars seem to be off the grid, so we are racing. Dashing down into turn 1. Polora has managed to get that nose on the inside of Will there. And he's actually going to take the lead. Will tried to cut him back, but there wasn't room to cut back. There was another car then. Oh, there's a huge crash off the start. And Loirot actually gets the worst of that somehow. We're going to have to save a replay marker and take another look at that at some point. But we're going to stay with the live racing for now. Polora is ahead of Blay now. Quinton and Lamb following. But all the pack still very, really close together as we now go into Sector 2. And we'll just double check that everything's settled down, and then we're going to take a look at that turn 1 incident again. It seemed like Will tried to cut back to get the lead back, but there was a car on his inside. There was no room to cut back. He ended up getting pushed wide, and I think somehow, some way, and Lamb's been given a drive-through penalty. Right, we're going to have to break that down. So it's Lamb that got the drive-through penalty, so we're going to have to look at Lamb's perspective, I think, here, and see why that happened. He pushes Blay into... I see. So when Will tried to cut back, Blay hit him, Lamb pushed him into the braking zone, and that was where that came from. That makes more sense now. So the new conductor of the slipstream train becomes Nico. And, oh, he's caught the gravel! And I switched the camera onto Nico at the correct time there. He gets a big lump of oversteer. It's so easy to do in some corners where you don't have that... that runoff on the entry. You know, you push your car up onto the racing line all the way to the outside of the circuit, and you just clip like an inch of your outside tyre on the grass, and all of a sudden you're dead before you even know what happened.
All it takes.
We'll take a replay of that and we'll have an onboard. As we're seeing Nico here, comes through turn 4, starting to lose the back of Quinton, and I think he becomes conscious of the fact he's losing the slipstream and really needs to get the hammer down. See now he comes up to turn 5, boom, little bit of grass on the entry, and then ends up surrendering the position. Never ideal at all. It's just too long to make that work. The longer the corner, the less likely the outside move is to work. It's got another 2 sectors of Nürburgring GP to make this one happen. Valiant effort so far, fantastic clean racing. All respect shown, and it's up the inside! Little bit of a push there. I'd argue that might be put down as push to pass. Clearly got a little bit impatient, saw an opportunity and just went for it. But Blair's going to fire back now. We'll have to see if the stewards inquire into that at all as well. But Will has been brought into this battle, of course, as they were going too wide through the first sector of the circuit. Will gained a bunch of time as they weren't able to take the optimal line. So Will is going to move up to P4 as he's side by side through the Schumacher S and gets ahead of Blay. He's now got the opportunity, and he is close enough to Swasatore to maybe get a podium position here after being, let's not forget, shunted out at turn 1 of this race. So it's the run down to the hairpin. It's one of the most popular overtaking points on this circuit. Will is in the slipstream, but not looking that close. But Blay is also looking to overtake Will. It's an absolute nightmare to attack and defend at the same time. Swasatore takes a strong defensive line there, really gives Will nowhere to go. But Will was also defending from Blay. Will's going to look up the inside. I think that's mainly to defend from Blay, not so much so as looking for the position. And wow, 3rd, 4th, 5th, extremely strong fight on the final lap. But it's going to be Swasatore getting that last podium position. Of course, we didn't see Polora and Quinton cross the line, but they were miles away. And we knew that was going to happen anyway. Kryptonite just pitting in on the final lap, it seems, calling it a day. And Lamb finishing a lap down in the end. I think he just let off because, of course, that drive-through penalty is a race destroyer. You lose like 20 seconds off of that, so... Oh, he's actually sat in the pits for the full thing, so he was 11 laps down.
The delicious cars on full. On top.
We'll grab your results in just a moment. What do you reckon then? Race results should be popping up on your screen right now. That is for race number 2. And you'll see it's a 3-second gap that Polora got from the end. And Swasatore then was another 6 seconds behind that. So it just shows the gap that Quinton and Polora pulled. Will Murdoch, really good job there to recover to P4 after that early incident. And Loirot as well. Again, you said it the best way, Cyrus. His car was pointing the incorrect direction at one point of that race. Gets P6. You got to commend the effort. Nico was running in the podium positions, and we just saw him get rejected by those curbs. That was P8 in the end for him. Let's have a look at our general point rankings at the end of day 1. And you'll see Quinton leads on 27 points. Almost a perfect score for day 1. Polora is then right behind, as we theorised he might be. And Loirot, despite that mishap, still in the podium. Will, Nico, all up there as well. Bit of a disaster day for Lamb, I think, but it definitely is going to be one to watch as we move into the further rounds. Still plenty of racing to go, and don't forget that the final offers bonus points. So there's plenty of time for these drivers to make a recovery.
Hopefully we'll be seeing Mira next weekend.
Yes, Miro's connection issues stopped him from showing up today. Really hope we see him next weekend. Do not forget, guys, next weekend, same time, same place, we will be with you with rounds 3 and 4. That is in the McLaren 650S GT3 car. Very, very different approach to racing. I suspect you might see some different drivers at the front. Should shake up our championship order. Really hope you've enjoyed the stream tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me, Cyrus.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Good stuff.
We're going to play you out with one final message from Geologie, and we will end the stream shortly thereafter. Thank you so much, guys. We will see you next week.